Superheroes speak a comic book dream, where legends are born and stories redeem. With Dave, John, and Dawn, who will we cast? A podcast that's here to make the past last.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak, the podcast that will make the past last, or just make things feel like they take a really long time. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
And your buddy Don here.
That's right. And we're actually live right now. This is not pre-recorded like last week from New York Comic Con. But that was a lot of fun. We'll talk about that a little bit. But before we get to anything from last week, how's everyone doing this week? Don, how are you? Did you recoup from New York?
Recoup. Honestly, when you say how I'm doing great, because one of my primary concerns, obviously, other than busting my Comic-Con cherry, at one of the biggest ones, was I don't want con crud. And obviously, Dave, you were witness to my vitamin C overdosing to combat that. And I will say that I am the champion. I beat the con crud. I didn't get nothing. So yeah, that's pretty much carried me this week.
It's all that clean country living.
That's an achievement,
right?
Because especially when you're going around as press, between that and if you're like an actual salesperson or one of those people there, you are going to get something. Like those places are, and especially the number. How many people were there this year?
I haven't
Enough where you had to walk like this all the time.
Yeah, it was every day except Thursday was sold out.
Considering the new areas, that would probably put it around 300,000.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Huh.
Indeed, throw and kill. Evening, gents. Remember the Browns rule, and Sophia Gante makes the genders drool.
Gigante? Sophia Gigante.
Oh, from
Penguin reference there for you. And yeah, go Browns. They beat the Ravens.
You got to win. How's it feel?
One of two. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was a victory for you?
Not really, because at this point I'm like, let's just go for the draft pick. But whatever.
Wow, it's pretty early in the season talking about the draft pick.
Welcome to Browns fandom.
All right. John, you haven't been on a couple weeks. We know that you have some things going on in your life, but how are you in general? Lie to the people.
In specifics. No, I'm okay. In general, life is treating me well. I'll say this, like I talked to you guys before, I will be taking a small leave of absence, not disappearing completely. But it's because, because my mother is in hospice, and, it's times like these where you go and you be with family.
Yes.
But I'm sure Dave will also send me homework to watch some of the worst crap on TV or in the movie theaters, so that when I come back, I will be thoroughly traumatized enough to do the podcast.
Yes. That's the goal. That's how I control everyone. I mean, no, we enjoy talking about this stuff.
Yeah, he's got this Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing that he does with us.
We should do an episode like that one time.
No, I want to watch you guys watch was it the Condor Man? Yeah. It's a superhero. Anyway, so yeah, how you doing, Dave?
I'm doing all right. I've had a long and interesting week. It's been good. I'm sorry, I know you're down, John, and I really hate it, but it's been a really great week. First off, Don and I had a great time in New York.
I'm glad to hear that.
Don did amazing, even though he was so nervous about doing interviews and everything, but he was great to hang out with. And it's funny because Don has never even been to New York before. We actually did some touristy things, like went to Times Square and the 9/11 Memorial and Cat's Deli, which probably was the best part.
Oh,
Yes. Yummy, yum, 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 yum.
While we were in New York, my fourth granddaughter was born. She decided she didn't want to wait,
all
so she
right.
came a week early, and um, so I got to see her Monday when I got home for a little bit, and then the other thing that happened, which was kind of interesting, was so I told you guys a few weeks ago that my son and I started playing a new TCG called Alestrals, which is it's kind of like Magic, um, kind of not, but like because you get 20 spirits, which is your energy. And once you're out of spirits, you lose. Kind of the idea. But your spirits are also your land. Anyway, not getting any other details. My son says to me, he's like, you really should like email them and say that you have a podcast and um, you want to talk about the on your show. And I'm like, okay, I
Well, we've
guess.
had the guy from Havoc on too, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean,
So
oh my god, my mind just went blank. Um, he's a friend of ours. I mean, like he used to co-host he used to guest host on the show a lot. So and he went on to do Havoc. Um so long story short, they emailed me back and they said, "Oh, okay, we'll send you a creators package, I think they called it." And I'm going to put a picture up here. This is what they sent. Um
Nice.
so it's got two booster boxes, two decks in it, a tournament uh pack, four blister packs,
mhm.
and then a couple other floating packages in it. It's like my, my son and I looked up the value, and it's like almost $400 worth of value. Oh, and it had a plushie in it as well. It's almost $400 worth of value of stuff. So like,
Does that mean we should play it?
I think we might. Again, we really like the game. It's you can because you can actually play it pretty quickly, or if you know what you're doing, you can have a longer game, and it's I mean it's a lot of fun. And like that's what I'm saying. Like if you're watching this show and you play the game, let us know in the comments down below. I really like want to meet other people that are playing this, and if you haven't, go check it out. You can go to lestrals.com and buy decks there. Um, I not all like one of the things they're doing is they're reaching out to a lot of people now because they're trying to get into retail shops and comic book shops and all those kinds of places that normally sell these kinds of games. So go check the game out. If you like it, go tell your local comic book shop. Thrawn says he'll try it. Thrawn will try anything once.
Mikey, you'll try anything.
Um, let's see, and then the other thing that happened to me, not happened to me. The other thing that was went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. I even have look. Oh wait, wrong thing. I even have a picture of me and my girlfriend in our garb at the,
Nice.
and she keeps making fun of me because I say garb. And she's like, "It's just clothes." I'm like, "No,
No.
garb. This is what you get when you date a nerd. Sorry." And then the other thing was, though I did bring this with me. This was I bought this at New York Comic Con, and it is my
Yep.
new Ren Fair cup. I almost spilled my drink, and it's heavy. I'll tell you that. But I will say this is really cool. They said this at the convention, and I'm like, okay. The material that it is made out of, it's a conductive metal. So if you put something cold in it, the cup gets cold and keeps your drink cold. If you put something hot in it, the cup gets hot and keeps drink hot. And I'm like, oh, okay. I
If you
put a
put it
drink
on
in,
an outlet, you'll get electrocuted. Yes.
I put a drink in it yesterday, and all of a sudden the handle got really cold, and
Oh,
and
nice.
the ice did not melt the entire time I was drinking the drink. I'm like, this is the best purchase I've ever made, and I will not tell anyone how much I paid for it, but I love this cup. So yeah, that that has been my week. It's been a whirlwind.
Here, I'm gonna show Thronkill's thing. Okay, Thronkill, I saw that thing and I was wondering how the hell do you get your hand in there to get the popcorn at the bottom of that? It's ridiculous. These popcorn things are getting stupid.
I was going to bring that up when we started talking about. I was going to talk about this when we talked about the movie.
Okay.
And my experience going there, because I did get 2 collectible things that had nothing to do with Venom.
At the Venom movie?
At the Venom movie.
That's funny. I got one collectible thing that had nothing to do with the movie, but it was the Beetlejuice gravestone, so I could put it next to the candy when I put out the candy for Halloween. So, but what about you? What'd you get?
Okay, so fine. I'll say it now. We went to a Regal that's near where Karen lives, or not a Regal, United Artists, and we got a small popcorn, and it came in what looks like an explosive thing where you have the plunger, a dynamite plunger, which was for the Borderlands movie.
Oh, geez.
I still have it in the back room. Yeah.
Did you get it for free? I mean, like,
but it was just the price of the small popcorn. It was no extra for coming in that bucket because they're just trying to get rid of the product at this point. And then Karen got a medium soda, and it came in a Nightmare Before Christmas collector's cup, which I'm guessing there was some kind of anniversary showing of the movie, and they had these collector's cups. And which is funny because that is like one of her all-time favorite movies. So she was really happy. So yeah, like that's the first time I ever got to a theater and got one of the collector's things, and I didn't even ask for it. And it's for a movie I've never seen.
That's hilarious. Hey, boss, you want me to throw these away? No, don't throw them away. Just give them away. Just give them away. Just get them out of here. I don't want them in the dumpster.
That's funny.
Yeah. So. So yeah, I'm just tired. So, and speaking of New York Comic Con, I also wanted to let everyone know, of course, you have seen, if you're paying attention to the channel, you saw last week's episode. We had our interviews we did with Donald Mechner, who is the creator of Prince of Persia. And then we also got a interview with Dan DiDio and I can't remember his name now. You did this to me while we were there.
I did that because the whole thing is he's the artist. He's the artist of the Exiles.
He's the artist on the Defenders comic. So yeah. So and then I did I released it as a separate interview on the channel just because like it's a shorter interview and maybe people who are interested in what Dan DiDio might have to say about the comic book industry might not want to watch the whole episode. Who knows? Jim Califor, thank you. I was vamping. Yeah, so Jim Califor, who's the artist on Defenders of the Earth, and then Dan DiDio is writing it. And it came up like kind of last minute, and the guy running this is through Mad Cave Studios, and the guy running the booth used to work for IDW and remembered me from a few years ago when we were doing interviews with IDW. So originally we weren't going to get the interview room, and he's like, nah, I'll figure it out. And we got in the back, and it was really nice. So keep your eyes open because there will be and of course we have a Dirk Manning interview up on the channel. If you haven't watched that, go check that out. And this week will be Sarah Meyer again. We got to talk to them like we do every year at the convention. And I'm trying to debate if it's going to be I can't think of his name, the guy who did the Toys That Made Us. That was a fun interview. Or if it's going to be of course our good friend Rich Duick. So I'm trying to put them up quickly. So I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Was a great interview, by the way. So yeah, I can't wait to.
You fanboyed out on Rich, which I found funny because we've known Rich for years, and I mean he's been on your show too. So it was just like, Wow. I mean, no, like Rich is a great guy and we talk all the time, but it's like, and he's a tremendous writer, but like, I don't fanboy anymore.
Yeah, you do interviews for like 10 years, and there's really, you remember the first place we went to, was it the Great Philly Comic Con?
Uh-huh.
I fanboyed out on Denise, not Denise Richards. What was her name? Denise Crosby, Lieutenant Yar.
Yes.
Yeah, and ever since then it's been all downhill. I mean, nobody
So
impresses me
keep the
anymore.
fanboy. So keep the fan. No, I mean, call it fanboy, call it what you want though.
I'm
Like
just
seriously
teasing.
though,
Yeah.
no, I get that. But like I meant every word I said to him were like his idea that he implemented for Wastelander Star Lord, right?
Mhm.
That's like a comic I would never buy, but I
Hmm.
just bought it because he wrote it. And I swear I didn't know that, yeah, I'd pick that up. Oh, and where's Peter Quill going? Old man Peter Quill. Oh, the X Mansion. Oh, what's going on? Oh, Farouk's there. Like, it's just great. And again, and it was a one comic, one story thing. Like he
Yeah.
accomplished a lot with that book, and I was like, holy shit. And I haven't talked to him since. So yeah, I kind of railroaded that in there, admittedly. But and I do that.
Oh, he should Thrawn should have Venmoed us some money so he could Timothy Zahn's signature. Well, maybe next
Listen,
year.
man, there's so many people there. Like it was a challenge just for me to get like a couple of Comic-Con exclusive comics, from that Marvel place,
Yeah.
for my buddy and myself. Like it was just a shitload of people there.
It
A
was.
lot of things to spend money on.
Yeah, and we didn't even go Sunday, which I mean that's the funny thing because a lot of times in the past, I don't always, but a lot of times I do try to wait to Sunday to shop, but we weren't going Sunday, so it was like we did
Yeah.
our shopping Saturday and then my back
Yeah.
is killing me, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we did a lot of walk-in, and my Sunday was my adventure to get back to the airport because that's the first time I've ever been in New York City. I didn't have the money to Uber,
This
so
guy
I
took
had to
us
take.
It's funny, this guy took a subway his first time in New York.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Well, and what makes that even funnier is literally the first time I step onto the subway, there ends up being like some guy rambling and walking around in the back of the car, and I'm just
What
like, wonderful,
That's
but
nothing special. That's every Thursday.
yeah, no, I could tell by all the other people in the car just minding their business. They're like, okay, that's how you do this. Then. All right,
Yeah,
no
that's
problem.
Gary, man. He's here all the time. Come on a Wednesday when Kevin's here.
Did you notice when I said, "Oh, let's go do this"? I didn't say let's go jump in the subway. We took an Uber.
No, I'm like, hey, big baller Dave. Like, yeah,
I want to live.
you're very accommodating though. Thank you, sir. Oh, come on. As you know, that I'm a pretty big guy. We'd live through things. It'd be all right.
All right. All right. Well, that's our weeks. I don't have an inappropriate joke of the week. Because I was busy with work today and I didn't look anything up and we went to the rent fair.
Cosplayers have big boobs. There you go.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you go to Renaissance fairs, you should look up Arthur Greenleaf Holmes. He's a poet and he does an act and he is the most filthy poet you will ever read in your life. And he was so hilarious. He has 3 books that he was also selling at the fair, and I had to buy one. But I haven't read through the book. I was going to read one of the poems as the inappropriate joke of the week. So maybe next week. Look forward to that. A poem by Arthur Greenleaf Holmes. I did get caught up on one show. That, of course, is Agatha All Along. We haven't talked about this in a couple weeks. John, are you caught up on Agatha?
Yes, I am. Just today, in fact.
And I think the last time we talked, the show you weren't even on that episode. It ended with the reveal that Teen is Billy, right? But we also had my question was, if you're not a fan of the comics and you aren't paying attention, do you understand that that's Billy at the end of the episode? And I kind of was afraid they were going to left turn us, but it's like, no, that was Billy.
Right.
I don't know. What are you thinking, John, so far?
I think it's way better than it has any right to be. And I've heard that it's the second highest rated show on Disney Plus right now. So I think the last episode, episode 7, proved that the writing is actually really, really. I mean, I've liked the writing so far, but the fact that I don't want to do any spoilers. Let's just say that one of the characters in episode 7, there's a through story that you've watched her through all the other episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 brings it all together, and it's really neat. Like I really like this show.
Well, I mean, come on. It's been a few days. We can say it. You're talking about Rio, right? Aubrey Plaza's character.
Well, not just that. And I should have had the.
Oh, you're talking about Lily, not
Yeah.
Lila. Is it Lily or Lila? I don't remember. The fortune teller.
Yeah. She's just been. I've read stories before with people that experience time non-linearly,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes really good writing to make that work.
Yes.
And it's Patty LuPone who does the character,
The actress, right?
Lilia Calderu.
Lilia, yeah.
So the fact that they did it so well that you didn't realize it was that you just thought she was a little bit wacky throughout the whole thing, or talking to, or you thought she was talking to spirits. I mean, a bit of a misdirect there, because the whole thing you're thinking she's talking to spirits.
Yeah. No. Agreed.
No, she was experiencing time out of sync, and she was commenting on things that hadn't happened yet or had happened way before. I really think this show's, and it's funny because I listen to a lot of commenters on YouTube, and some of the ones who I have some respect for really don't like this show, and I don't understand why. I don't know if it's because I'm just looking for shows that are fun, and I can tend to overlook things unless they're really bad, like a Fire in Space. But I don't know. You really should pick up this show if you haven't seen it already. It is really fun, and it gets more fun. I think it's getting better every episode.
Right, and people have picked on the writing, but I think you're right. The last episode, to write an episode like that well is hard to do, and they did a really great job. And I'm going to say that it's one of the shorter episodes, and I appreciate that, because I know they couldn't get away with doing 45 minutes to an hour of the time jumping. Like, that would have gotten too annoying. They knew just the right of amount to make it work. And I thought it was well written.
And right, they're not padding anything. So the episodes are as long as they need to be.
Right.
They're not sticking to that. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the final episode. But I think we were all kind of panning this in the beginning. I was still kind of interested, but the general thought on the internet was, why are they doing Agatha Harkness when they could be doing all this other stuff? And
right.
This is still from the old regime before Iger took back over. But damn, it works. Second highest rated show on Disney Plus by all accounts. I mean, it's just damn good.
Don, you're being quiet.
Well, I'm just letting you guys talk.
Yeah. Go ahead,
John. No, because I don't have much to add, because it's kind of boring the shit out of me. I'm interested in Billy. And Dave, you and I talked about something that it would be really interesting, but I don't think they're actually going to do it. And that is his boyfriend. Like, you're like, well, is that Hulkling? And I was like, well, Hulkling is part Skrull, so there's no reason it can't be. But outside of that, like, I don't know if I need another Agatha butt shot or what, but I'm not into the whole witches thing, so I'm sure that there are people that are into this sort of thing that are loving it. but I'm really not interested in anything other than kind of what's going on with Billy, possibly Hulkling. Do we learn more about Scarlet Witch? I'm just not into it, as far
See,
as the adventure we're seeing, right? I just not. It's just boring me a little bit.
See,
I
that's
get
that's that's okay. Everybody can have, everybody can have a different feel for it. I mean,
Sure.
I respect that. Um, I think a lot more people are going to like this that aren't interested, like just because of the reviews they've heard that they won't be interested. I think if other people tried it, I think a lot more people would like it, surprisingly to themselves, if they would give it a go. Like it's just the writing is a lot more clever than I thought it would be, and that's
I
what's keeping me. And the witch thing doesn't bother me. It kind of
I
it's kind of a
feel
draw for me.
I feel like the problem is twofold. Like everyone talks about superhero fatigue, which I get, but I also feel like the other side of the coin is Marvel taught us how to watch stuff, and when they deviate from that formula with something like this, people are like, "Oh, it's terrible," and it's like, "Well, no, it's something different," you know. I mean, what's keeping me hooked is I want to see how this resolves. What is Billy going to ask the road for? What's Agatha going to ask the road for at the end? And is it going to be something that cancels each other out? Is it just Tommy? Is it something else? Is it the question that did he already ask the question in this last episode that he wants that answered at the end of the road? Is he Billy or William? You know? Um,
And like the other thing about this is normally you go into these and you know what everybody's disposition is going to be. Like you can almost tell what you know the characters and you know exactly what each one's going to do. This is the best of all types of writing. Your main character, you have no idea if they're going to do the wrong thing at any given point or the right thing at a given. So we don't know if in the end Agatha is just going to kill the rest of them. I
right.
mean, so like
And right. And you also don't know, like, is Billy gonna kill are they gonna be alive at the end? Because like I said this before, my original theory on the show, and there's a part of me that still believes this, is that uh what Agatha asks for at the end isn't going to be power or, have her power back, but to restore her friends she made along the way, restore her coven, because um like they already did show like she has, but you don't know if she's lying or not, and I will say that, but they did show that she had some regret over sucking these witches dry and saying she doesn't have control over it. Like, is that true? Is it not true? I don't know, but I want to see how this resolves.
and we also
um
don't know what what's her face Rio is going to do, because now we know who that is.
yes, well, she's gonna go hang out with Deadpool and they're gonna
I was going to say, are we going to see Thanos pop up? I was like, what are you doing here? You cheating on me?
no, unfortunately I think the MCU is done with Thanos.
Mm.
Frankel says my wife's show right now is Good Trouble on Freeform, and I can't explain it because she just watched Penguin 1 through 5 and was mesmerized.
Interesting. I'm not caught up on Penguin, so I haven't had time.
So yeah. Oh wow. All right. Well, and I haven't watched Penguin either, so we won't talk about Penguin this week. I know Don's disappointed because he got into it because of you, John, and
True.
and now we're not watching it. I feel bad
I'm on an island
about that
all
much.
by myself.
Yeah,
Well, while we contemplate
I'm not
that,
getting con crud.
do you know why you didn't get Con Crud?
nice.
Because you are Dark Don. Here
Right.
is Dark Don to tell us more about superhero speak.
Dark
Good
Dawn.
evening, plebeians. Darth Dawn here to tell you that superhero speak is not just a YouTube show. It is also a website. You will go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social media links to the show, comic reviews by Chris, and most importantly, our merch. You will buy our merch. And while you are on the HoloNet, you must check out the rest of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network, an influential conglomerate of podcast shows like the Pop Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, That's So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, Twisted Mind of 8-Bit Ray and the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, the powerful superhero speak. Plug in hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. And if you do not comply with my request here tonight, I will torture you by making you watch The Acolyte, the one and only season, over and over again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a double feature to catch. They're showing Blade 2 and The Matrix Reloaded at the drive-in. Now, back to the show. That was a pretty good one.
Do you know, I find myself now doing the lines with you while it's running.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Thrawn said he can talk with you on Discord about the show if you need to. So,
All
there you
right.
I will eventually watch it, I promise. But you know what? If you've gotten this far in the show and you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live, normally on Sunday nights, right here on YouTube. And of course, if you enjoy what you're watching, smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm, gets our show out there even more. And if you're so inclined, you should go and check out our merch store. The link is in the description below. Get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. I don't know how much longer we're going to have the merch store, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I ordered some shirts to take to New York Comic Con like 3 weeks in advance, and they haven't shown up yet. And
Ooh, you're saying we need a new partner.
we need a new you know what? That's true. We need a new partner to do the t-shirts. I think something got messed up with my order in particular. So don't let that discourage you right now. But if you guys know a good company for doing t-shirts online, let us know.
Redbubble.
And okay, I'll check them out. And but if you have another place, if you do t-shirts and you can do t-shirts for us, let us know in the comments down below. We'll hit you up and get some t-shirts made. All right. On that note, we probably should take a quick commercial break and come back with a little tiny bit of news.
Some podcasts are like this.
I don't tell this story a lot because I don't get it. I was sitting next to my mom. I was in 4th grade. Out of nowhere, my mother turns to me and goes, "You're not going to school tomorrow." And I go, And when my mom growing up, she said something, just how it went down. So I was like, huh. And then I went, fuck, but we're going on a field trip tomorrow. We're going to Little Vietnam in the city. And it's just all eating candy and fucking around. I really wanted to do it. So I go, but we're going on a field trip. We're going to Little Vietnam. I really want to go. And she goes, when do you leave? I go, first thing in the morning. She goes, when do you come back? I go, 3 o'clock. She goes, you're not in the school at all. I go, no, we get dropped off. We get on the bus. We come back at the end of the day. She thinks for a long time. She goes, you can go to school. The next day, there's a true story. May 20th, 1988. A woman walks into my elementary school through the door that my class was in. The room was empty. She walked through, walked down the hall, walked into another room, shot 7 kids, killed one of them. True story. To this day, my mom cannot explain why she didn't want me to go to school.
And some podcasts are like this.
So what's your take?
My take is no more bachelorette parties.
No more bachelorette parties. 100% agree.
100%.
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm
They're
done.
bad.
And they're getting longer and longer. We're talking 4 days, 5 days, a week. Costume changes like it's the Met Gala. Crowns, sashes. What is it, a pageant? I'm in debt from the bachelorette parties. I spent thousands of dollars on bachelorette parties.
Thousands?
Thousands. Because you got to fly her to the place. Then you got to have costume changes too. You're doing a Euphoria themed day. You're drinking out of test tubes.
Themed days?
Yes, theme days. Dates with multiple themes. We're all going to wear white like we're in a cult today.
Why?
Because white women are bored.
It's white women. It's a white woman problem, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a white woman problem.
And they're so boring. Not boring, but you're placed with people that you absolutely would have
Your
not
friends
chosen
are going to be watching
with.
this.
Okay.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
He goes to his mom's hospital with a lot on his chest. And I'm gonna tell you right now, bro, like that whole folder is a recipe for a pillow to the face, nigga. Ain't no getting around it. Ain't no getting around it, bro. I see that file. You about to be you about to get that goose down, nigga. That's how you getting that pillow.
Blood to choke on these feathers.
Just relax. Relax. Just smother chicken, bitch.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Okay, hold on. Thrawn says, to this day, I can't explain why I listen to this podcast. Are you talking about this podcast, Superhero Speak, or Cult 45? And where is Kassan? He's right. It's a good question. Where's
Well, it's
Kassan?
Monday night, right? Kassan's
Yeah.
usually on Sunday
Sundays.
nights.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my Renaissance Fair craziness. Because if you're talking Cult 45, the reason you listen to Cult 45 is they're funny. They are a funny ass podcast. And they're right. It is a white woman problem. All right.
Hi.
We have two
Amen.
You have a lot of problems with white women, don't you there, D squared?
Yeah. You were part there.
Oh, I
4
know.
days with me.
I knows things I can't talk about. All right, I got two news articles, and I'm going to reverse the order because I feel like this first article goes more into the main topic. So the Rey solo movie, they're supposed to do a trilogy, continuing on the saga with Rey as the main hero, which she already was the main hero. Anyway, loses their writer while The Mandalorian and Grogu finished filming. So, do we care about this Rey trilogy? Because to be honest with you, it's more exciting to me that The Mandalorian and Grogu finished filming. Like, I want to see that. I mean, we all loved The Mandalorian, so it's gonna feel like I feel like it's gonna tie in with what's her face? Ahsoka and all that stuff. So,
Well, it was supposed to. It was supposed to tie up all three of those, right?
All this, right.
All three of those series. Shit. So, I don't know. I mean, like, they flubbed the last 3 Star Wars movies so badly that I don't know if I'm interested in a Rey movie at all. They're going to have to make something really spectacular in order to make up for the last 3.
Kiss my shiny metal butt.
The real question, Thronkill, is how could you not feel that he's the bender of this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Always spitting facts and throwing cold water at us.
Did the last trilogy make money? Yeah, because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is the most popular brand on the planet. Like, you can't deny that. But were they good movies? No, they were panned universally by all of the fans. So, except for Marcellus from So Wizard. Other than that, everyone else hated them. So why are they going to make more of them?
Gotta put me on that list, brah. I don't hate them.
You know what?
Likes them.
You know what, Don? I'm not above minimizing your window.
I understand.
Jeez.
But with that said, I absolutely think that them doing another Ray movie or Ray trilogy is going to be a little bit of a misstep, just by the pure number of people already ready to shit on this thing. Like, why do it? Why not go with what people are accepting, explore the universe through Mando, Grogu, Ahsoka. We got Ezra back in the universe, Thrawn's a thing. So we got places we could go that I think people will be more accepting to.
I mean, and the funny thing is, even though Luke shows up in The Mandalorian, and don't get me wrong, it's one of the most epic scenes of all time when he comes in and kills all those robots, but it's still removed from this Skywalker saga. He's just a supporting character at the most in that show. Like, we don't need Luke. Like, it's cool that he showed up and it probably boosts the ratings, but
he was a Deus, what do they call it? Deus Machina.
For that scene, right? Exactly. He was exactly. He's the guy who came in and saved their butts. But other than that, you don't really need Luke, and that's been a big complaint, I think, of a lot of fans for a while. It's like, yes, we love the Star Wars. I mean, we love the Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader story. Let's get something that's such a wide universe. Let's get away from that. Let's get something new.
That's what I've been saying all along. It's like, and that's why, like, I don't know if I'm ready to. I don't know if I'm interested in watching a continuation of the Skywalker saga with Rey, especially with the level of writing they've had lately.
Right, because again, she calls herself Skywalker at the end of that movie, so like it is a continuation of the same saga. Ugh.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Keanu Reeves, Revan, let's go.
You've been calling for that for a while, but I think he's getting a little old, don't you think?
Doesn't matter.
That's what CGI is for?
It's Star Wars. People die and they're still in movies. So you think age is the problem here? Come on.
Oh, wait. Total aside.
Sorry. I should have thought that before I react.
Kazan's back.
So is Kazan. Yeah, I was about to say, if John's back, but so is Kazan because, we're an hour in here.
Kazan, some bad news for you. No.
He's back for this week. So what was I going to say? Did you hear, total aside, did you hear that oh my God, the original Star Wars movie, the
New Hope?
Yeah, New Hope. What's the name of the guy who runs the Death Star? Very famous actor. What?
Are you talking about Tarkin?
Tarkin, yes. And who's the actor who plays Tarkin? What?
I don't remember his name. Oh, you're there.
But they did him in CGI too, right? It was Peter Cushing.
Cushing.
Peter Cushing. Yeah.
Peter Cushing. Did you hear that there's a director who is trying to sue Disney and Star Wars now, or Lucasfilm, saying that he had a contract saying he had the rights to his likeness?
Oh no, here we go.
How many years after Rogue One comes out?
Well, right, and it's also Disney, and we've already seen where like they killed somebody in their restaurant. And they're like, "Well, you signed up for Disney Plus, so not on us." Like, so they're just going to be like, "Ah, you signed up for the Disney Channel back in cable and recorded on your Betamax machine."
You have to use our arbitrator because
a judge did say that no, that wasn't acceptable, by the way, and it is going to go to court. But yes,
there is a God then.
Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, no, like I thought that was crazy when I heard that news, and that's a couple months old at this point. I completely forgot to bring it up before, but like, and who knows? I don't know where that story's at right now. But it was just like it was one of Cushion's last movies, and he signed some kind of contract where it was like, oh, now I've got the rights to your image, and it was like, no, no, you don't. Like, I'm sure he signed a contract when he did A New Hope with Lucas that said he owned the rights to everything he did from then on.
Yeah, they didn't even have like they didn't have this kind of level of CGI back then. So
Right, that's why they're doing it. They're like, there's no precedence. We can do it. We can keep dead people alive. No problem.
yeah.
So, all right, yeah, let's forget the Ray trilogy. Let's we want more Mando. All right, and then the other news is Spider-Man 4 gets an official release date of July 24th, 2026. And
That I'm sorry, that made me snicker. That was well played.
And so here's the thing. So it's going to come out after Doomsday at this point. And which I think Doomsday is going to lead into obviously Secret Wars. It's something that they've been talking about for a long time. So how much, okay, and there's been a lot of rumors about Secret Wars and Doomsday, is that we talked about this a few weeks ago, where they're saying Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to have more of a relationship with Doctor Doom than Reed Richards is, or there's more screen time with him, more scenes with Spider-Man than with, and I feel like they're playing off that relationship that they already did in the MCU. So again, it's a stunt casting. They're trying to get people to come see it. If it's true or not, we don't know. It's a rumor.
Well, even so, they don't, like, we've lost our mastheads, right? We lost Iron Man.
Right.
We only lost have Black Panther.
Right. We only have Spider-Man at this point. You know.
He would be the one that you use to make other people care about other characters through his interactions with them. So from a writing point of view, they don't have much of a choice but to try and use him. And the only kink of it is that Sony still owns him.
And Thrawn's right, and I hate to say it, but he's right. If it's a Captain Marvel-led Avengers team, the movie's going to be dead on arrival because a lot of people don't like the character. And
even though there's nothing wrong with her.
And the second movie was so much better than the first. I hated the first movie. I liked Marvel's, but anyway, because they made her more human in that movie.
But to speak to that though, John, like you're like saying there's nothing wrong with her. I mean, essentially you are correct. But and actually this is a long time ago. This is like 10 to 8 years ago. They did this event, Civil War II in the comics, right?
Yes.
Oh shit. Civil War II. We gotta get that.
I brought this up. Go ahead.
And that series made Carol Danvers like the biggest a-hole in the universe.
Oh,
and then they introduced her into the MCU. So
yes, because
she gets more hate than she deserves, but I get the whole like not liking the character.
They make her like an absolutist in a lot of ways, where there's a vision where I can't remember the character's name, but like apparently he's going to bring about some kind of death and destruction. So she's like, well, then we just got to kill him now. And it was like, wait, whoa.
Well, it was an Inhuman. So this is back when they were trying to fuck the X-Men over because Fox.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Ulysses could see the future. And so, yeah, Carol Danvers is like, oh, what do you see? Oh, this person does that. Let's go fucking get him before they do it.
Let's go cap his ass.
And both Tony Stark and Hank McCoy proved that these visions were not infallible. And she's still like, fuck it. I don't care. So yeah, that's old now at this point. But
a lot of people don't like the character from the comics because of that series, the way they wrote her in that series, and then they tried to make her like the face of the MCU going forward, and it was like, no, we don't like the character, So yeah, and it's not. I can't think of the actress's name. It's like it's not her fault at all. Like
Brie Larson,
like. Again, Marvels is a great movie. It's a shame, like, if you've not seen WandaVision and Miss Marvel, you miss a lot in that movie. But it's it humanized Carol Danvers, and unfortunately, not enough people have seen that movie. It's not it's not that they hate the character; they hate the writing of that character. Yes, I don't disagree with that, Kassan. Because they also made her very arrogant in the MCU right away, which was annoying as all. But she is an arrogant character in the comics, so what are you going to do? And here's the thing, and this was my question of the week, and we didn't get to it yet, so we can do it now, and it does tie into all of this. Spider-Man 4, Doomsday, and of course Secret Wars. We all know Secret Wars in the comics is where Spider-Man got the symbiote for the first time. Do you think we'll get a symbiote in Secret Wars now?
If Sony is smart,
they're not, but go ahead.
Then we're at an impasse right off the bat. If Sony is smart, yes. But the thing is, Sony's not, like as you said, Sony isn't. Sony has been pushing Marvel's buttons.
Yeah.
And they might have from certain corners of the internet, there are some rumors that Sony has been pushing Marvel into changing what the Spider-Man 4 movie is supposed to have been. So I don't know. Like at this point, it depends on legal. Like there's probably legal stuff that needs to be worked through.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll explore it more when we talk about the movie. But Don, do you think? I think personally, like before you answer, personally, I think it would be a good move. Like people who are familiar with the original Secret Wars comic, they would be half expecting it, and they would love it if they do it that way, and then give us the classic black costume with the white on the hands and the white spider and the white eyes, and then everything else is black. Like you do that on screen, people are going to love the movie, period. But maybe I'm just a Gen Xer, and that's, Amazing Spider-Man 254, which is the first Amazing Spider-Man with that costume, was the was the start of my collection for many, 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 many years. And maybe I just am biased, but I don't know. You're nodding along there, Don. What do you think?
No, I think that it actually will end up doing that, even though my initial thought was, no, that's not going to happen because that was in the original Secret Wars, and this is going to be more of the Hickman's more recent Secret Wars, which didn't involve that. However, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about Venom 3, but the post-credit scenes for Venom 3 lead you to believe that this is not the end of the symbiotes. And, and you could make a lot of wrong right by kind of reintroducing the symbiote in a way that kind of forgets everything that just fucking happened. And now here's our Peter Parker and Eddie Brock Venom thing.
We are so on the same page with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think we could. I think it'd be a smart move,
especially the way
they set it up.
Yeah, we'll get into it in a second, because especially the way they ended this movie, it was like, yeah, I feel like that's what Sony is trying to set up, but we'll get to that. All right. Let's take just a real quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about Venom: The Last Dance.
This is so wizarding.
Broadcasting very fast. and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Mark Ellis-Reagan. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Mark Ellis-Reagan's, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcast.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find So Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, GoodPods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
All right, before we continue, I need to tell the audience, this is the glass I normally drink out of. I might be a little buzzed at this point. All right.
Put it behind the curtain, Dave. Put it behind the curtain. Come on.
All right. So, Venom, The Last Dance. Of course, we're going to do the numbers like we always do on the show beforehand. So to start off, box office as of this live stream, worldwide it has made $175 million, 124 internationally, and 51 million domestically.
$150 million to make, last I checked.
Yes, yeah.
So
I think it'll make it. I do. We'll get into that. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's fun. I think word of mouth is going to spread, and it'll make it next weekend. It'll hit not only its budget, but it'll hit its marketing money as well, I think. Does that mean there'll be a Venom 4? I don't know. We'll talk about that. All right. Of course, Rotten Tomatoes. This is always interesting. It's one of these movies. The tomato meter is 38%. So reviewers are not liking it, but it has an audience score of 80%. So audiences are digging it, and the reviewers do not.
That's never happened before.
Anymore. No, that happens all the time anymore. I'm actually getting it happens so much. I'm actually getting tired of it.
Yeah, I know, right? Why do we have reviewers if they always like 99% of the time they are always the exact opposite of what people actually feel about it? You know?
Yeah. What was the last movie we did though, where the audience and the critics agreed? Oh no, we didn't actually do this. It was an anti-review.
The Crow, yeah, in the worst way possible.
Well, the Crow is true too. Yeah, they agreed there, but they also agreed on Joker 2. The audience and the reviewers both hated it. And then finally, we have our patent pending superhero speak poll over on X.
This is Shark Tank. I'm sorry. Show Shark Tank. Okay, I'm sorry. Inside joke. Sorry.
Okay, I haven't seen Shark Tank in a while. There's a patent pending thing on Shark Tank.
I always ask. Do you have a patent? No, a patent pending. That's it.
Oh, okay. Of course, we said, what did you think of Venom The Last Dance? Results discussed on the next Superhero Speak. I gave them 4 basic options. It was the best. It was okay. It was meh. It was terrible. And we actually have both. We have 2 ties. So the tie for second place was it was best. It was the best, and it was meh. Tied at 14.3%, and then tied at 35.7% was it was okay and it was terrible. So people are all over the place with this movie. So let's get into this. Non-spoiler at this point. When you walked out of the theater, what were your initial thoughts of Venom: The Last Dance? John, you can go first.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. You know, like I think this is the only movie. This is the only movie trilogy that Sony is going to get out of the non-Spider-Man, Spider-Man, properties
Yeah, agreed.
that actually worked. And I think Tom Hardy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Tom Hardy and his buddy cop interactions with the writing team as Venom is what made this for me. Because every 3 seconds I'm getting a chuckle out of the interplay. And the action was good, and it was interesting. Not too much bothered me at all. I just thought it was fun to watch.
Okay. I can't disagree. It was fun. Don.
Oh boy. Oh, here it comes. All right, let me just adjust my chair.
Let me just pucker a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Get the earplugs. No.
I just juxtaposing your review of like the Rise of Skywalker with this, and I just can't believe it. But I will admit that I'm of two minds when it comes to this movie, because on one hand, it's not the worst movie. But again, I paid $5 to go see it at a local theater with my 10-year-old daughter. So I'm like, hey, I'm watching a superhero movie with my daughter. She's enjoying it. This is great.
It
Okay.
was the $50 you spent on the
No,
concessions.
this place was small and very reasonable, actually. I spent very little money to see this movie. So
Okay.
that's why I can probably be like, okay, I'm here for it a little bit. But outside of that, this is trash. Like, I don't want to get into spoilers, I guess, but like just like the whole idea of how the codex comes into play. When
This
Venom
is a
was
very
dancing,
MacGuffin heavy movie. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
when he was dancing, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but the lady he knew before that knew he was Venom, and they're dancing in her penthouse. Oh, I can't
Contrivance, yeah.
become Venom because then the xenophages will come get me. But hey, we're gonna fucking dance, so fuck all that. Bring them on. And I'm sorry, I don't go into spoiler territory. So, I mean, I kind of get the whole like this isn't a bad movie. You did have some chuckles, like very 80s crass humor chuckles that 10-year-olds apparently like, because my
Mrs.
daughter,
Chen, by the way, is the character.
Mrs. Chen. Okay, yeah, that's when I was like, "What the fuck am I watching here?"
She
Venom
runs the
is-
convenience store. It was in the first movie, but yeah.
and I didn't watch the second movie, by the way, so I don't know, but I didn't seem to miss anything. So yeah, I mean, I get it. The kids like this. The kids like this stuff. The kids like the Tom Hardy Venom trilogy. I can't believe a fucking trilogy of this shit. Like, and we're in the third movie, and he still can't get the "We Are Venom" right. Like that was another thing that stuck out to me. Like, I'm like, we're in the third fucking Venom movie, and we still have not gotten like the "We Are Venom." So that's the two minds I'm with. My daughter enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that I went to a $5 theater and watched a superhero movie with my daughter, who she enjoyed it. She enjoyed all the different symbiotes that we get to see. But the plot, and mind you, just totally divorcing myself from this being Spider-Man and Jason. I'm like, just forget all that. Just focus on the story, and it eats its own rules. So yeah, there you go. I thought it sucked. I'm sorry. Other than enjoying it for what it was with my daughter. So I get it. The kids like it. I'm just, as you said, with the gray and the beard. I'm not a kid. So
yeah, I get what you're saying too, because it's a fun ride. There are scenes in this movie. Okay, let's put it this way. There are scenes in this movie that are definitely a fun ride. Like, it's unique stuff you haven't seen before. And you can enjoy those scenes. The story around the whole movie is very contrived. It's very MacGuffin heavy. It's very like, oh, well, you did this in the first movie, so now it's causing this in the third movie, And sorry, and I get that, like, that's annoying, especially if you're not like a huge Venom fan. You don't get that, like, some of the stuff was taken from the comics. Some of the stuff was made up for this movie. Mrs. Chen is not from the comics. And yeah, they also break their own rules in this movie, and yeah, we'll get into that in spoilers. But like, if you turn your brain off for 2 hours, there are parts of this you definitely will enjoy. There's parts of this even with your brain turned off, you're gonna go, wait, why did they do that? Wait, what? Like, I feel like, okay, so there's the buddy cop aspect of this with the relationship between Venom or the symbiote and Eddie Brock, and together the Venom. So like, it was a little goofy in the first one. They upped it a little bit in the second one. They took it to whole new heights in this one. And does it work from a comedic standpoint? Yes. Does it work from a superhero movie standpoint? I don't know. So we need to discuss that. So all right, we're gonna get into spoilers because like I'm gonna say this. All right. If you like the first two, go see this. It is worth your $5 if you can find a theater like that. It's even worth your $10 if you go to a regular theater. Like, go see it. You'll have a little bit of fun. But just know that there's some weirdness to this movie. If Weird Al Yankovic made a movie, this would be it. So we're gonna get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your chance to bail. If you don't care, or if you've seen the movie, here we go. All right. So this movie starts off right where we had that after credit scene in which movie was it? Was it Multiverse of Madness? Where Eddie, like, all of a sudden just showed up in the 616 universe at a bar in Mexico, and he's talking to the guy, and then all of a sudden
it was No Way Home. No Way Home.
It was No Way
That's
Home.
about that.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was No Way Home, right? Because they couldn't do it in a Marvel movie.
Spider-Man.
They had to do it in a Sony movie, and he's like talking to the bartender about all of the craziness with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet and all the heroes and everything. Then all of a sudden there's a flash and he's back in his universe. They don't explain it at all. Like, there's no explanation of why he popped up in New York in the 616 universe and then he's back in the Venomverse.
Because that's not the way the spell worked or anything.
Right. Because it was people who knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Oh, well, okay, wait. Getting pulled into there actually does work, because remember, the Venom symbiote, the symbiotes have multiversal knowledge. But then all of the symbiotes should have been pulled in.
Right, not just Venom.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're a hive mind with multiversal knowledge, so they would know Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
And I've watched so many videos online where they like use that as the explanation of why it makes sense. But I don't know, I still have issue with it. And then
it's a reach.
All of a sudden we have Mordor show up. I'm sorry. What was his character's name in this movie?
Mordor?
Not Mordor.
Strickland
show up. No,
yeah.
He played but he also played what's his face in the Doctor Strange movies. Not Mordor. I can't think of his name. The villain from the guy who trains him in the first one and then becomes a villain at the end of the movie.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's a really interesting name.
But anyway,
yeah,
he shows up Oh wait, Eddie. All of a sudden, Eddie Brock or Venom decides
Mordo.
Mordo. Thank you, Thrawn. Yeah, Mordo. He plays Mordo in the MCU, but all of a sudden is a general in the Venomverse. Okay, whatever. He's an actor. He can play whatever he wants. I don't care. All of a sudden, Eddie decides, I'm going to go behind the bar and make drinks. Or Venom decides, I'm going to go behind. Again, it's the first, right away, we're raising that comedic relationship between Eddie and Venom. Like, right off in the bat, the first thing in the movie, it's, let's make this a comedy. And I'm like, what am I watching? Like, that was my first thought. Like,
well, and that's right after they introduced like Null and the blackness and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
They did show that first. You're
Which
right.
I was like, holy shit, this is kind of a cool setup. I'm kind of into this now. But then, yeah, they go right to the vandalization
And
of the bar.
It's pound you in your face comedy too. It's not even like subtle. It's like he's breaking bottles, he's making drinks with all his tentacles. The bartender's losing his mind because what's going on? I've never seen anything like this before. He makes some kind of drink. Did he make a pina colada? I don't remember. Or a margarita.
Daiquiri. Yeah, margarita. Yeah,
it was a margarita.
Margarita.
And then they're drunk, and they're walking around drunk, and it was just like, what is this? What am I watching? And I'm like, and I guess that's the whole thing with this movie. And I'm gonna, I don't want to go detail by detail with the movie. Every time we have Eddie and Venom, or Eddie and the symbiote, or Venom on screen, it's a comedy. But everything else is in a super serious movie. Like, it was so unbalanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really was, because there was that first fight scene where, Venom engulfs Eddie, and we've got our first Venom fight before the xenophages show up, or the one xenophage shows up. And then from that point on, we've got the trope of, if I fully take over you, the phages will be able to the one ring me, to be able to know,
Like
exactly where I'm at.
Much,
right. Yep. It's like ring wraith, so we can't be Venom. I thought that was just a dumb trope.
Right. It was a reason to tie their hands at the beginning of the movie, but then did they really tie their hands? Because he could still use his tentacles and pop out a little bit and help out. So it was like, okay, so he can still kind of be Venom.
He can, but even when the xenophages were there, right? Just, eating people, right? They would put people in their mouths and would fucking spit out their blood from the back of their necks. Like, he's already here killing people. Why are you hiding, Venom? This should be ass-kicking time. Even if you don't think you can beat him, like, you're just hiding, let him kill other humans. And they kept saying, Lethal Protector, which I get it. That's the name of the miniseries, Venom #1, Red Foil. I got it back there somewhere. But you're not
I have the Red Foil
protecting
as well.
anybody. Yeah, you're not lethally protecting anybody. Like, you're just saying that to tie it to the comic, but you're literally running, as these xenophages are like just turning people into red mist.
That was the most terrifying thing about this. Like, if they had been killed in any other way, I wouldn't have felt anything, because okay, cool kill, yeah. But the fact that these people and the other symbiotes were getting just churned into red mist was like,
it was a wood
oh my god, that's horrible.
It was literally putting them into a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And then their guts and all flew out the back. And it's so funny because, like, I've said this on the show before. My first date with my girlfriend, we went and saw Venom 2. And which that's when I knew she was the one. But so her and I went to this together, and it's funny because, like, we've watched a lot of movies together and things do bother her, but, like, I was shocked that was actually bothering her. And I get it. It was a very gruesome way to kill everything. Was this wood chipper like idea. And it was just like, yeah, it was too much, I think. Like, there was no need for that. Like you could just swallow them up and it's done. Like the fact that they shot all the blood out of the back of the head, I'm like, why are we doing this?
If they were going for the horror angle, and
Yeah.
because Null was part of this, that's perfect. Don, you mentioned about the way I seem to be, I seem to have like difference for both this and Acolyte. I think the thing is that about this one, I didn't really care so much. I mean, I like with Star Wars, I really care about Star Wars, and the fact that the writing was so ass, and every 2 minutes I was seeing something that didn't match with something now that happened before. Like I cared about that. With this one, I wasn't going, like, I don't really care about the Sony movies. I was just looking for something to be interested in for an hour and a half. And I don't know, it got me between the joking between between Venom and Tom Harding, and then like the red mist making me actually care about what's happening to some of these people. Like every time one of the other characters got grabbed by these was it xenophages? Like every time somebody got grabbed, I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Like it actually made me care about what was happening to people, because it's a horrible, horrible thing that was being done to them.
That's actually an excellent point though about caring about the Star Wars universe. And I have the first 4 or 5 Venom miniseries series that came out, and I liked the character when he was first introduced, but I'm not so married to him that I care that much about it. But from a superhero standpoint, again, it's the over-the-top comedy with whenever they're on screen versus the super serious nature of everything else that's going on in this movie. And then there was the weird running gag of the shoes in this movie. Like I didn't get that. Like he lost the shoe. Okay, so in the beginning of the movie, one of the first things they do is they stop this gang that's training dogs to fight, which, like, okay, cool, whatever. Venom bites all their heads off because that's what Venom does. And then one of the dogs has Eddie's shoe where he's wearing Crocs, and I hate Crocs, so I didn't care. But he rips the shoe in half, and now he's got to walk around. Now he's got to steal boots from one of the dead bodies, and he's walking around with those. And then he loses one of those shoes, and then he's walking around with those. It's like, what? What is with? And like, there was no payoff to the gag either, but it just was this running gag. Like he kept losing his shoes.
Again, like so they came up with a running gag. Like again, in my mind, so they came up with a running gag that was kind of funny, and I didn't mind the juxtaposition between the humor, because I think they struck a pretty damn good balance between the humor and the horror, right? Like because there's going to be.
But what bugged me?
Let's face it, both characters, both Venom and Tom Harding, they're not the sharpest axe in the drawer.
But what bugged me? I'm sorry. But what bugged me the most about it, and I know this is maybe nitpicking, I don't know. You watching can tell me if this is nitpicking. In the comic books, Venom becomes Peter or Eddie or whoever's clothes when he's not in the full, like, Venom gonna kill you mode.
Yeah.
So he can become shoes for Eddie. So why that, like, so them doing in this movie is like saying, oh, screw that in the comics. Like, no, he needs to wear clothes, and then I'm just gonna, no, come on. Like, so stupid. Like, just for a running gag that made no sense because there was no payoff at the end. Like, of all of a sudden at the end, he had like got a really great pair of shoes. I've been like, okay, cool. There's my payoff. But no, it was just a weird running gag. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, again, I don't feel like, I don't know. I probably glossed over that. And you know me, I usually nitpick, and I should have nitpicked that one. But I don't know. I
So
was just in there for the fight scenes were good. The humor was good when it was on screen, and it was horrible. It was made me care about the other characters when they were getting wood chipped. I just and Temple is in this, and I'm kind of a fan of her. So it's just kind of I again to Don. I just didn't care about this enough to nitpick it to death. And
okay.
it kept me entertained for an hour and a half.
All right.
I don't think
But
I'd watch it again, but if you're a fan of the other two, then like Dave said, I think you should still see it.
all right, so I will say this, and I know Don already mentioned it. This is the one thing that even if you don't care about the character that much or whatever, it is the one thing that you can nitpick this movie for. It is Venom or the symbiote or whatever you want to call him, who is like, no, we can't do our true form, because if we do our true form, then these guys are going to see the codex and they're going to come kill us. And then it's like, oh, I want to dance with Mrs. Chen, so I'm going to become Venom.
Oh yeah, no, that took me out of the movie. That one scene.
That was so stupid. I was like, I'm done.
That brings me to the one thing that pissed me off about this show. The one thing that I can't stand is, don't they know that ABBA has other songs other than Dancing Queen? There's Chiquitita, Gimme, 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 Lay All Your Love on Me, Money, Money, Money.
You're the only
I do not
ABBA
understand
fan here.
how they can, like, so many really, really good songs, and they always pick fucking Dancing Queen. God damn it. I am sick of that song.
Anyway, no. And then the guy shows up, they get out of their form and he can't see them. And then the army guys show up to like capture Eddie, and he gets knocked out of his shoes again. Like, oh my God, what am I watching?
So while we're all levying our main complaints about the movie, I'm going to give you mine. And I'd like to hear, I guess, your response, John, is what is the first thing that we're introduced in this movie? We're introduced to Null.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, all we see is like his scalp. Like, is this a Vidal Sassoon commercial?
Oh my God,
or
don't even
superhero
get me
movie?
started on this guy. Go.
But even at the end of the movie, he never escapes until the mid-credit scene. And that annoyed the piss out of me. I thought we were going to at least get some like symbiote, dragon symbiote, which is from the Donny Cates shit a couple years ago. And we just got the top of the scalp and some black shit and the xenophages. And
Was he sitting
it.
on the same throne that Thanos was for like 5 movies?
Right. And they're definitely trying to set that up. But all this movie happens, which again is very convoluted, by the way. The Codex happens because Venom saves Eddie's life. So if Venom never saves Eddie's life, we never have the Codex. So there's never any threat of Null getting released. Doesn't matter anyway, because Venom sacrifices himself. Therefore, now releasing Null, like,
no, it's not. See, that also didn't make sense. The point was that if one of them died, the Codex died. So if Venom died, how does he get free? How does Null get free? Because the Codex is dead.
Because he also needs the Codex to free. He never got possession of it. Like,
right,
it doesn't even matter.
And what he says, your champion is dead. I will come for you. It's like, but you're still trapped.
Right? Is that a clause in the contract? Like, hey.
Well, yeah, no, that's Sony. That was 100% Sony. Come on, let's face it.
But that's the other thing too, right? The other after credits scene, which I've seen so many people who have commented on it, who either didn't see the movie or don't know what they're talking about. But we're in Area 51. Oh, I watched a video and someone kept calling it Area 55. I'm like, what? But anyway, Area 51 got destroyed with the big battle between all the symbiotes and all the what are they called? Don?
Creatures. Xenophages? Yeah.
The xenophages. So there was the big battle between the xenophages and the symbiotes and Area 51 got destroyed, all the asset, explosions, blah, blah. We saw the bartender get captured at the beginning of the movie with, what did he get captured with? A little piece of venom that was left behind at the bar.
Yeah.
And everyone commenting is like, is that Battleworld? No, it was destroyed Area 51. He was obviously in a prison cell.
Is that Battle World? What the fuck?
I know. So many stupid people commenting on the internet. But we had a little piece of venom left. And a cockroach was walking up to it. Which leads me back to my question of the week. Is that little piece going to show up in Secret Wars?
It could. I mean, that would deviate because, that symbiote was with the Beyonder.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that could be their way. Also about this movie was also a tour de force of venomized animals, by the way, I think.
Oh, yeah, the horse was
We had a frog and a horse.
And a fish.
And a fish. Yeah.
And
Even afterwards, they showed a penguin. If it was crazy. But yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't like the
yeah, and isn't symbiosis supposed to be hard? Yet in this movie, it's like symbiotes for everyone.
Well, yeah, but
here's the thing:
not for long. Like it would have eventually killed them. I mean, that was the point, right?
Can we roll the clock back a little bit? The original story, right? The original story from the comics. Peter gets the costume in Secret Wars. He comes back to Earth, finds out that the costume is a symbiote that's like feeding off of him. Basically, he makes him goes out and do things at night. That's when he realizes he has to get rid of it. He goes to the bell tower. The bells make him leave, and then he finds Eddie, who Eddie was fired by the Daily Bugle for taking or giving them fake pictures. And Peter's the one who called him out on it. So they both hated Peter Parker for different reasons, and that's why they team up to go after him.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a whole big long story accumulating into Amazing Spider-Man 300. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. That's why I'm talking about all this detail. And in the battle that they have, there's a big long battle between Spider-Man and Venom. And finally at the end, Peter's like, and I think it's like 304 or 305 where this happens. Correct me in the comments down below. I don't remember which exact issue, but this is also when I was heavily collecting Spider-Man. So I have all of these issues. Peter's like, all right, fine. You're obviously never going to give up. He rips off his costume. He's like, take me now. And the symbiote tries to like go to Peter to bond with him, and he can't leave Eddie because they're bonded, and he can't leave his body. They've become permanently bonded. And this movie went, fuck that. No, they can jump back and forth. They can leave when they want. That's not how it works. He's been with the symbiote for a year. He's permanently bonded to him. He can't just leave him and go to a horse. He can't just leave him and capture all these other creatures and get killed by acid. Like, that's not how this works. It's never how it worked in the comics. But no, like they said, screw that. We're throwing that all out the window.
See, my ignorance of all those things protected me from hating this movie. I
get that.
I'm not saying I hated the movie, but it was just like.
But it's bothersome because you know the way it's supposed to work, and again we come back to if you're saying the rules. If you have like, I have this character and this character has rules, and then you break all those rules, then what does the film even mean? Because if nothing matters, if the rules don't matter, then nothing matters, and what the hell, right?
Yeah.
If you break your own rules.
And also, a quick nerd fact: people always say Amazing Spider-Man 300 is the first appearance of Venom. No, the first appearance of Venom is Amazing Spider-Man 299. It's the last panel of that comic, and then it goes into 300. Anyway, so everyone who buys Amazing 300 thinking, oh, I've got the first appearance of Venom, nope, you're ripped off. You're wrong. It's 299. Anyway, okay, we've bashed this movie quite a bit. Other than John, what is something we liked about the movie? Let's do that real quick before we wrap this up. Don, come on. Was there anything about the movie that you liked?
Yeah, no,
Besides
I
Null?
did. Well, okay. Well, then you said besides no.
Okay, all right,
No.
all right.
No, I liked that my daughter liked it.
There
You
you
know, you
go.
get to see all the cool symbiotes. I remember the first one was green. She's like, "Oh, I like that one." But then there was a girl one that was more turquoise. She's like, "Oh, I like that one." The one that kept getting on stuff and stabbing stuff with her. You know, so that was cool. I mean, the action scenes, the CGI for the symbiotes and shit, that was all good. So, I mean, got no complaints there.
Okay. How about you, John? What was one of the things that like stood out as a really good thing about this movie?
Well, the jokes, the banter between Venom and Brock, which was, it got me at times, got a couple of chuckles out of me. It was written pretty well. And the final battle was pretty damn well choreographed and pretty neat. Also horrifying in certain ways. And Judo Temple. I mean, this is another thing where I think they packed too much backstory into this,
Yeah.
into the characters. So you had the through story of Juno Temple as the scientist, and her brother, her getting struck by lightning and having Lichtenberg markings on one side where the lightning went through her arm and killed her brother who was holding her hand at the time, and then she gets a symbiote and becomes lightning fast. And I'm sitting there going, "That's Zenitsu. She's Zenitsu from Demon Slayer."
Or how about
anime fans? But I liked all of that. That's
Yeah.
that was all cool.
There's also the other Doctor. There was the whole Christmas tree pin. Like, there definitely was backstory there, but they don't touch on it at all. It's
Probably
just like,
cut to the floor. Yeah.
yeah, it's probably yeah.
Yep.
I did like the horse scene. I thought that was fun. Like I like the comedy. We didn't even touch on what was the one character's name? Martin and his family. And that
Oh God, they were
weirdness.
pulling a flash with that at the beginning, but they were much more likable. I think at the end they were much more likable, and they did a pretty good job of inserting them in throughout the story and making them count.
I mean,
a little bit. They
I
didn't
get
have
the
to have
point of
them
the
in.
character. The point of the character was to help humanize Venom, because he bonds with the kid, and it's like first he tells him there's not aliens to protect him, and then it's like, no, there are aliens, and
There's a
he
bunch of
saves the
fucking
family.
aliens, actually.
Yeah.
And he saves the family, and I get it. It gave him someone to save in the movie. Really, is the way to look at it.
That poor kid, though. Just think of that. No, there's no aliens. There's no aliens, and then he sees aliens that fucking have wood chippers in them.
Horrible aliens, like the worst.
Wood chipper aliens.
Yeah.
So yeah. And but there's so much in this movie that just doesn't make sense.
But I don't think they cared, man. I can't believe we're talking about a Venom trilogy. I mean, that boggles my mind that we have a trilogy of Venom movies without Spider-Man.
Without Spider-Man. Yeah, they
of all the ones that
made it work.
Of all, and I think because of the interplay between Venom and Brock,
and that's all Tom
I think
Hardy.
that kind of made it work. I don't think they're going to get that in any other of these movies because there's no dynamic like that they can set up.
People need to realize that Tom Hardy also does the voice of Venom. It's just, digital manipulation.
Yeah.
And so that's all Tom Hardy. And there are people who are going to criticize him. No, he's a really good actor and he makes that work. And I think it also shows he does have comedic chops. So definitely give him props for that.
Oh yeah.
Just does it work in this movie? And I get it. If you read Lethal Protector, if you read those miniseries, he is a little nuts. And that's kind of what they're getting at. but instead of making him crazy, they kind of made it funny. So, all right. I don't know. I don't think we could say much more about it, and
No.
we're at an hour and a half. So let's just go around the room. Let's put this one to bed. Give me a score 1 through 10, and give me a score 1 through 10 venomized frogs, and your final thoughts. And John, you can go first.
I mean, like I said, I was entertained. I was not as invested in this character as I am in some of the other things that we reviewed, like the Star Wars trilogies and such. So, I mean, if they don't, as long as they don't make another one, I think they can like put a pin in it, call it a day.
I feel like we're gonna make another one, but go ahead.
I know, but the thing is, like, if they just put the cameras down and leave us alone, they can at least know that they got one profitable trilogy out of the non-Spider-Man crap that they've been throwing at us, and and maybe not do anything more after this. But I mean, it was worth a watch. It was fun. It was funny enough and entertaining enough for me that the whole trilogy worked. This one I'll give a 6.5. That's
okay, lower than I thought you were going to give it, but okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, yeah. Again, normally I really care about characters and continuity and all that. I was just looking for fun, so it did that for me.
Okay. All right, Don.
I give it 5 venomized frogs out of 10. There's a shell of a good idea here, but ultimately, I think the story is just way too contrived and convoluted. And again, oh, hey, I can't transform or else they'll see the One Ring. Oh, but hey, this lady would like to dance with me, so I'm gonna
of all the reasons, of all the fucking reasons, yeah, go ahead.
Like that was like the biggest kick in the balls.
That was dumb. Yeah.
So yeah. Mid, as the kids would say.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go between the two of you. I'll say a 6 out of 10. Maybe it's because I was with my girlfriend and it was it actually technically is our 3-year anniversary. So we enjoyed it, and but yeah, there's a lot of little issues with it. If you don't care about continuity or characters, then hey, go watch a venomized horse and a fish. I didn't even get oh my god, I didn't even mention my least favorite scene was when he's defending himself without venom against that one soldier in the river, and they're trying to shoot him, and he turns the gun, and the soldier gets shot. And it was like, why? That didn't add anything to the film. It didn't add anything to the story. Yeah. Why did he accidentally have to kill a soldier to defend himself? It was like, it took something so much away from his character at that point. But anyway, yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. There's issues with it, but it's not the worst thing that we've seen this year or haven't seen this year. So let us know. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Let us know in those comments down below. And yeah, we'll move on. Kassan did say something here. He said, just an FYI, 3 Crisis on Infinite Earths are on Max now. Is there a review due? Yes, I would like to review them. However, I want to do it with John because he is our resident DC fanboy. He loves those movies. And so we will wait till John is able to return. He is going to be off for a little while. He has family issues to deal with. So yeah, when he gets back, that will be the plan, is to review the Infinite on Crisis.
And I have watched them, so
yeah. I haven't seen the third one.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Crisis on, I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second or third yet. So, but they're all on Max now. So easy to watch. So yeah, that is coming, Kasan, I promise. And Thrawn said, new part of the show. Would Aragon watch it? Aragon? You mean from
Aragorn.
Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Ring, right? Yeah, because my One Ring reference.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, let's go around the room and let's bring this one in for a landing. Do you have any recommendations, or did you learn something this week on the podcast? And this time, Don, you can go first.
I learned that John hates on Star Wars because he cares about it. That's nice.
Okay.
I don't have any recommendations outside of the Penguin show is cool. So check that out.
All right.
You have it.
John.
I had a recommendation and I can't remember it. High Potential. I think it's called High Potential. It's a new series.
An anime?
No, not an anime.
Oh.
Surprisingly, High Potential. It's on ABC streaming, but you can watch it through Hulu or several other places. Unfortunately, no matter where you watch it, you're probably going to have to see commercials in it. It's really entertaining.
Which are all political right now. Oh my God, as a poor person that can't afford the non-ad tier of streaming, holy shit. Anyway,
I can't wait
Completely
till this election is over. I'm so tired of the political ads. But go ahead, John.
Yeah, no. So it's about a woman who's got a 160 IQ, and ADD and OCD and all this other stuff, close to my heart. And she's just working at a police station as cleanup at night. Sees a crime board, takes one look at it, walks over, corrects it, and the next thing you know, the police are hiring her because, oh my God, she's like a female monk.
Okay.
But it's been very entertaining so far.
That interests me because I actually started rewatching Monk. Just because I love that show and I hadn't watched it in a while, and it came up in my recommendations. What is it on? I think it's on Max. So yeah.
I would watch this. I would watch it. That's my recommendation. So,
all right. What did I learn this week? I learned that you really can't make Venom work without Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick with that. That's one of the greatest storylines in comic book history, up to the point where Spider-Man first beats Venom in the comics, and then Lethal Protector came out, and it's kind of okay, kind of meh, and then it dies after that, and really the character should have died after that, but people liked him for some reason, the dark version of Spider-Man. Recommendations, I'm going to recommend Illustrals, the TCG. It's a lot of fun. My son and I are going to keep playing it. If you play it again, please let us know in the comments down below. I want to find more fans of this game who are playing it. I want to find people I can play with. Kasan said that Monk is on Netflix. So thank you. Yes, it is. It popped up on Netflix. You're right. What did you say, John? I'm sorry.
Well, we'll have to give that game a go when I get back.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I might reach out to the creator and have him come on for an interview. I don't know. We'll see. Is that something you're interested in? Let us know in those comments down below. Other than that, that's it. That's all I've got. If you have gotten this far in the show and you have not done so yet, please click that subscribe button. Click that bell for the notifications so you don't miss us when we go live normally on Sunday nights. Well, normally on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you like what we're doing here, please smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. Get the show out there. If you are so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. Merch store might be changing. I'm looking into that right now. I'll let everyone know once I get that figured out. But you can still go in there right now and buy some of our shirts. Also, make sure you're heading over to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews, and so much more. And that's it. That is all I've got for this week. So, wait, we got 2 more comments real quick.
Super important. Yeah.
Thrawn says he'll fill in for John. We'll see about that. And then I just did a robot people. I don't know what that means. All right, on that, boys and girls, the robots are in charge. As always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next week.
Superhero speak.